Welcome to another amazing Friday here with Elevation Moments. I am your host, Coach Victoria, and it's good to be back in the driver's seat on today. Yesterday was a bit of a challenge, but today is an even better day just to be able to be in this atmosphere on today. Want to say thank you to all of you that continue to support us behind the scenes, those of you that share the video, those of you that share, that come on and check things out and, kind of go back and tell other folks what's going on. I really, really do appreciate it. It's always a privilege to be able to share some of the knowledge and the wisdom that God has empowered me with as a certified master life coach. And it's always a pleasure just to be able to give back to you all today. And so, today we're gonna jump right in. We got kind of a topic today. Y'all, it's Super Bowl weekend. Hey, Miss Carrie, how you doing? One of my faithful watchers and viewers. I definitely appreciate her. She's got a lot of things getting ready to happen, and you guys do not want to sleep on that. Miss Carrie Nelson Price. You do not want to sleep on my friend. So get ready. But this weekend is Super Bowl weekend. There's a lot of people getting ready. They're getting their food ready for the weekend. They're getting the tailgating parties ready. And, it's a lot that people do to get ready for the Super Bowl weekend. Can I be honest with you? My favorite team isn't playing. And it's okay, because guess what? It's not who wins the race, is the playing. You can't hate the players, can't hate the teams. Miss Carrie, you tell my friends out there that's okay. We're not playing this year, but we'll be back. We'll come back every year. But this is the thing, when you have, this is a great time for people to get together. It's not just for the men folk, it's for some women folk too that love football. I love football. I've been watching since I was very young. I don't watch it avidly like I used to, just because, you get older, you kind of like being the hostess or going to the parties, if you will. Neither which I'm planning to do this weekend. I'm planning on working on Super Bowl, because I got some new projects and stuff that I'm working on, and want to get ready for Miss Carrie, who's going to be my guest on Monday night. So I got some things I need to be doing. I ain't got time to be watching the game this weekend. I might get a glimpse in every now and then just because, but this is a time where everybody gets ready for the game. Everybody gets ready for the team, their favorite team, working and playing in the game. And so I want to talk a little bit about this because I think it's very important. I'm a team player. Sometimes that team playing gets me in trouble. Do y'all know about that? Because sometimes you can be a Cowboy, or you can be a Charger or a Falcon, or Houston Oilers or Pittsburgh Steelers, or whatever your favorite team could be. And sometimes that doesn't always work out to you good, right? And so as we're thinking about this, I want to talk about what teamwork is and what makes up a team, y'all. Teamwork makes. That's our topic today. We want to talk about what teams do and how working together, what that actually causes us to be in the season, right? And so sometimes we don't understand the whole principles of teamwork, and we don't understand how that works. It's not just football, it's any sport, because sometimes no matter what you're doing, it requires a team, right? And sometimes as a sole entrepreneur, I do a lot of things I do 99.5% of things on my own and by myself. But sometimes you reach out to people, places, and things because there's there's a component that you need as far as into teamwork as well too. And so we're going to talk about some of that today, because I think it's very important that we understand what teamwork does for us, right? And so we're going to give you some pointers. We're going to give you some talking things that we can tap into. But before we get started into that, I want to show you what's happening here on Victoria Elevates with this weekend. All right, guys. I know I got to get my groove on behind the scenes, y'all. You know, I'm listening to my the recordings of the commercials and stuff. It gives me just a little bit more energy. So today we're talking about teamworks, right? And what that really does. It could be bad or good. Someone sent me a message and said, your flyer is misspelled. Nope, it wasn't, because let me tell you how this works. First of all, in marketing, we lead into what we're going to talk about, right? We never give you everything. Well, we shouldn't anyway. But so teamwork, and then there's a slash that says ST. It can be a teamwork or a team worst. You got to choose which one you want, because teamwork means everybody is supposed to work together for a greater cause, right? To make things happen, to make things more feasible. It also, teamwork is where the basis of the group gets together and they decide what's going to happen. Now, sometimes that teamwork might just be you, and you've got to figure it out for yourself. As I've said many times, I'm a sole entrepreneur. And I operate quite a bit behind the scenes. But one of the things that I tend to sit down and do is I have a conversation with the CEO. The big guy upstairs. But he is the CEO, he is the founder and facilitator of the program. And I'm just the assistant operator, right? But sometimes when you bring that down to a reality, teamwork means that you have to have separate conversations with yourself. And I know somebody's going to say, well, that sounds kind of crazy. You're talking to yourself. Well, if you're a sole entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. To all of my entrepreneur friends and family out there, 100% rah. I'm your cheerleader from behind the scenes, because sometimes you got to do this thing without family, friends, or anybody else. It's just you and your thoughts, right? And so I'm learning that me and my thoughts do pretty good on most occasions. Miss Carrie, you're gonna agree with me. Sometimes we have, if you don't have anybody else in the team but you, then you got to be the the quarterback, the fullback, the running back, the whole back, right? And sometimes that doesn't seem or feel good, right? And so today we want to talk about that. So, put into the chat room, those of you that are either watching now or you'll watch later, tell me what you think that being a good team has, right? Because, well, let me put it this way. Why do you think a team works? What makes you think teams work, right? And I'm going to give you a few minutes. Hey, Club Cheetah in the house, Club Cheetah in the house. My friends, I appreciate you on today. So when I tell you, I want you to just drop what you think your thoughts are in the chat room and let me know what you think about what makes a good team. Here's because there's several things that we're going to talk about today. There's reasons why teams work good. So put a couple of things in there, and I'm going to give you a couple of things to think about. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds and let you think about it. Club Cheetah, thank you so much for being in the house on today. She has amazing Facebook group. If you have not been out there, ladies, go out there and enjoy the information. She keeps us abreast, and she is always giving us some tidbits. So she says, hey, Coach K, thanks for joining the journey. Life is in their hands. So Club Cheetah, she said what makes a good team for her. There are several things that she thinks about. She thinks about the support. She thinks about the empowerment. Those are some key things that we have to continue to do, right? A team that works together, they used to say a team that works together stays together and all that great stuff. And this is the thing. With a good team that works, there's several key things that we're going to talk about, right? There's several key things that we want to bring to the table. And one of those things that I want you to think about is why a team is important is this: diverse skill sets, right? When you bring a bunch of people together, they have different things, they have different skill sets, right? One of the things for me is that, I like to do a lot of different things with, I don't know, such as like when I'm doing the commercials for the show. There's certain things I like to do. I like to put some things together, being creative, having different viewpoints. When you have a good set of team players together, they bring different types of energy with that team, right? Another thing that is great about a team is it increases the productivity. When you can pass out several different jobs to several different people, it makes it easier for the job to flow, right? Sometimes, like I just said, it also improves the creativity of what we're doing too. And this is the reason why we need to have good people, the right people in our circle in order to have a great team, right? And so I want to tap into a couple of things, right? Diverse perspectives. Thank you, Coach K. That's it. Having that diversity is key in anything that we go to do, because everybody has creative thoughts and we can make, that's it. Teamwork makes the dream work. If we got a good team that works together, that's the key. So we want to talk about this right now. We want to get into a couple of things this afternoon that you can take back to your table. If you are a brainstormer, I have set some brainstorming meetings, and one of the things that one of the ladies that I work with, one of the things she says, I like how we can brainstorm. Brainstorming is key when you are planning something effectively. And it usually takes somebody to say, no, this ain't working, right? Or somebody's going to say, well, we need to stretch it out a little bit and look at some other things. And so one of the things that I want us to keep understanding that there's various, aspects of this puzzle, right? And so one of the things that we're going to talk about right now is this right here. I'm going to give you 3 key points today, and this is one of them: the power of collaboration. The power of collaboration, guys. Let me tell you something that, sometimes when you're thinking about collaborating, you have to be careful in who you're choosing to be a part of that. Coming up sometime here in a few months, you're going to be seeing the Collaboration versus Conspiracy Conference come back. Well, we had a panel of amazing individuals that sat around the table and talked about what the ups and downs of collaborating really means. And you bring people together, you have to know what people's intentions are. It's important to understand the intentions of anything when you're going into this, right? Because when you have a combined effort of a team, it produces results that go far beyond the capabilities of any of the members. When you're collaborating, that means that each person is bringing something to the table. Can I be honest with you? I'm going to do a brief class or something on, how to identify people's intentions, because it's important as you're developing in this season. You have to see things from a different perspective when you're looking at who is on your team. Some of the major football teams, basketball teams, even soccer teams, and all the sports arenas, some of the things that they have great about is the fact that they're bringing all of these people together. They have different views of how to run the ball or how to do certain things, right? When you look at those people that are, let's just take the football, this, NFL for the, that's what we're dealing with, the Super Bowl for the weekend. And sometimes this is one of those times where you see people gather together on a field and they're in a huddle. Why are we in a huddle? Because we're bringing our thoughts together. If you've got a team and they can't bring their thoughts together in the huddle, then maybe you need to reevaluate if that's good for you, right? And the other thing with the power of collaboration is this, that energy, that's the energy that brings people together, because it produces that go beyond the capability point, right? If you've got a good team together, your team can say, look, I can see further than you can see on the football field. Sometimes people that are with you in collaboration, they can give you that energy level that you need to push up. Can I be honest with you? If I didn't have some people in my life doing why I am a sole entrepreneur sometimes, if I didn't have people that could kind of speak into me every now and then, it would get kind of dull around here, right? Because that energy level you have to continue to push. As a motivational speaker, one of the things I encourage people to do is find that niche for you that makes you rise to that next level. Because what elevated, not tolerated means. It means to rise above anything and everything that has held us down and caused us to feel inadequate. And it's done so, kind of, not too cool, right? But with you and I together, you're going to rise above it, because we're going to be in a collaborative state of mind where our energies are forced to make us move to that next level, right? So when we're talking about collaboration, you want to make sure that you have a good group of diverse people, just like Ms. K said earlier. Diversity, that prospect of having different people involved. Excuse me, having those different people involved, it contributes to your thinking. It contributes. If you had everybody on the football field this weekend and they were thinking one thing only, then would there be anybody that could pass the ball to somebody else that could take the ball and run it to the end zone, right? So this is the thing. If you don't understand what someone else's capabilities are and you don't utilize those capabilities, they'll get stagnant. They get stuck. And this is the season where we're not going to get stuck. 2024 is going to be the season where we push out of all of these things and we start evaluating and moving to the next level. Even in the positive self-building class, when I teach about finding out what your root is, going down to that basics and finding out where things really exist, it brings it to a different level. But that's because there's a people that are collaboratively thinking up through the process. So this is the thing. When you think positive things happen. Can I be honest with you? Even me as a coach, sometimes I have those moments where I can go, why? Because the energy, the things that you need to encourage you, right? And so this is the thing. You got to keep moving to your next level. You got to keep pushing yourself, and you got to make sure the people that's in your team, that's in your circle, right? Building positive circles. Yeah, if y'all missed the class, you're going to have to wait for it to come back around. But when I tell you, when you have positive people in different places, it's time to be able to understand that you have to departmentalize people, places, and things so that it fits into the mold. Every player on a football team has a certain position. Every player on the team has a different characteristic. Every player on the team has a different job. Have you thought about the collaborative people that's in your group? Are they different enough where they can help you move to that next level? Well, I've got some things coming up here that's going to probably help some of us develop personally about how we do that. Coming up in a few weeks, there's going to be an opportunity for some coaches to get together and be able to express to you some different ideas that they also have. Guess what? Because I'm bringing back something that I know y'all been asking for. Check it out. When I hear that music, I just want to start drumming. How Miss Carrie, I can see myself doing the drums, man. It's been a long time since I tapped into those little babies, though. But anywho, coming in July, the Coaches on Parade, the whole week is going to be full of events, and then we're going to close it out on that weekend with some little specialties that you might want to stay in touch to. So, look, if you're a coach out there and you want to connect, I'm your girl. Let's get it together. Some other things that we want to talk about this teamwork. Let's go back to that because I want to bring in point number 2. Number 2 is navigating those challenges and conflicts. Now, this is where you might think of some negative things that happen when you're in a team. And because not all team experiences are smooth and not all team experiences are good and common, and not all team experiences give that lasting effect that of positivity, right? And one of the things that is so obvious is that communication piece. Sometimes the biggest thing that happens on teams that are negatives is those experiences of not having proper communications set in place, right? Communication is key on every level. And once that communication key breaks down, then there's going to be conflict. There's going to be some things that are not going to happen. This is why you have to make sure that the people that's on your team are willing to understand that not everybody's wrong and not everybody's right. But a good team is built up of people that can understand how to deal with the conflict and move to the next level, right? Conflict with personalities and different work styles is another thing that you kind of have to navigate when you have a good team. Having a good team is you need to say, Jane doesn't do bookkeeping like Sally does bookkeeping. And sometimes you got to move how you do those things. Sometimes you got to look at how those differences can cause your team to become separated. So you got to make sure that you have strategies in place for handling these conflicts with different individuals and teams, and emphasizing how the open communication and listening is effective. Finding that common ground. See, the most of us are not producing great teams is because we're not producing the conflict resolution. In the positive self-building class that we teach on Saturdays, we teach that, we're teaching positive self-building right now, building positive relationships. And one of the things that I'm teaching my students is about how to deal with conflicts with other people. Can I be honest with you? If you haven't dealt with the conflict of dealing with yourself though first, it may be hard for you to see the other end of the, I'm just saying, and that's the reason why you need to get a great coach like myself. Okay, anywho, yeah, that's a little pun in there for you. But check this out. Understanding and developing and using these conflicts and developing some resolutions is going to help your team to grow even more, right? Sometimes, when you have those times where there are challenges, let's go to the football game for the weekend. Sometimes on the football field, you might see your teams having a little conflict of behavior, if you will, a little fussing, if you will. But then when they understand that it wasn't when you have people that are disagreeing, but are able to come back together in a very positive way and bring out your opinions. Because most of the time it's the communication piece that's been lost. Did the email go out? Did the playbook get to everybody's hands so everybody knows how to operate on the field. Sometimes the biggest issue is that most of us don't know how to communicate effectively, right? And that's the reason why in one of my good friends, she's an expert at it. She's a communication expert. And it's always awesome just to hear the different aspects of communication and how it can develop to something positive if we're given the opportunity. Everybody's conversation sometimes can get to a point where it seems almost hard to even understand who's on first, who's on second, who's on third, who's the quarterback, and who's the running back. See, the thing is, when you break down these communication lines, when you actually start talking to people, places, and things, and turning negative things into positives, right? Even sometimes, can I get an amen? Can I get a rah rah? Can I get a boom boom? Shake. Okay. Anywho, can I get somebody to say, can agree with me that sometimes those negative situations can take you down the line. It can make you feel inadequate. It can make you feel unappreciated onto your own self. That's why you have to be able to understand what your own value is. That's why I like to teach the class, y'all. I just really love teaching self-worth, because when you understand your own true value, then you're able to push to another level. Sometimes it can get cloudy, guys. I can be honest with you. There's some days I've had some cloudy moments, but even with those cloudy moments, one of the things that I can tell you is it's easy for us to pull ourselves back up if we don't allow ourselves to stay down too long. Can I be honest with you? I've had some good friends here recently that helped me pull me out of the horrible pits of pity. See, this is the thing. When you get to a point where you keep seeing some things repeating itself and you really don't know how to get out of it, sometimes it takes somebody else to pull you out of that dark place. Sometimes it takes people that are on your team to say, look, we need to do this in order for the public to see you. We need to develop this so that someone can understand your process. The reason why some of us get stuck on teams and we don't feel appreciated is because we don't allow ourselves to speak freely about what we're doing on these teams, right? We got to understand how important communication is to the team. If we address the conflicts, then we can address the solutions, right? Because everything does have a solution. A good friend of mine out there, Jamila Rouse, said this to me the other day, and I thought it was very poetic, and it was very prophetic. Poetic and prophetic. Y'all got me? Because this is the thing. A lot of times, if we're not experiencing and we're not doing the things that we need to, to actually see that there are options available, then we're going to continue to repeat the cycle. See, this is the thing. When you can repeat something so many times, it comes to be a bad habitual habit. Can I be honest with you? There's good habits and there are bad habits. All of them can become habitual if you continuously to do them on a regular basis, right? Yeah, I get a little tongue-tied. But this is the thing. When you start thinking about habitual habits can be good or bad, right? The good out of teams and out of behaviors is this: when you can see the good and speak the good, right? I truly believe in affirmations. I truly believe in declarations. I teach it, right? So I gotta believe in it. What a man speaks out of his mouth can happen, right? When I tell you that there's times and seasons in our life that we got to be able to build around some things, right? Even this morning as I woke up, because I haven't slept too great for the last 3 or 4 days. But when I woke up this morning, after literally, Miss Carrie, I did sleep last night. I can tell you, I did take a good nap and I slept. And this is the thing. When I woke up, I went back to what was positive. See, sometimes we can have people that in our life that they're speaking negatively and don't even realize it. And that's because we haven't set the proper boundaries around that. When I tell you that seeing every level of your life form requires you to have the right people in your corner that can help you see those things. And a lot of times we miss it because of the lack of communication, because we don't understand how to deal with the conflict. One of the things that I'm teaching in my class, and I hope my students are ready for to do a little exam on tomorrow, because this is the real deal. If you don't understand how to develop positive conflict skills, then we're always going to be in a conflict. It's not always the bad guy that wins. Sometimes it's just the bad guy has developed a system how to develop a good way of navigating between conflicts and challenges. You got to be able to understand how important it is, and that's why I reinforce as often as I can the 3S theory, because the 3S theory truly does work. I'm telling you, my students have told me repeatedly that the 3S theory works. My clients, every chance I get with even a new client that's not even dealing with coaching, but if a client of mine is dealing with some things, I like to reinforce the 3S. And you say, what's the 3S? I'm glad you asked, but guess what? You got to wait until we come back for me to tell you what that is.
Me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hey, all right. So to those of you that are watching, this is another Fresh Cut Friday with Elevation Moments, and we are talking about teamwork. Teamwork. The dream works when a team works. Teamwork. Teamwork. Okay, Miss Carrie, I need some music. Teamworks make the dream works. All right, guys. See, I stay in my lane. I know what I'm good at, and creating a jingle ain't whatever, but it does make you happy a little bit, right? But we're talking about teamwork makes, and what does it make, guys? What does it really make? And before we went to the commercial break, I told you I was going to tell you what the 3S theory is. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know exactly what it is. The 3S theory is this: seeing, silence. I was thinking about I got theories. The 3S theories is this: silence. And in a nice way that I'm going to tell you, that means to shut up. Silence. Bring strategic plan for you to show up. I talk about it every chance I get because it's important for us to understand and how that fits into point number 3, resilience and learning from my setbacks, right? When you can apply the 3S theory, silence for strategic plan for you to show up, I guarantee you that you're able to be resilient, and you will learn from the things that you have happened in your life that didn't work out just like you needed it to. I don't, I've taken several courses, as you can't see it because my screen's up. But even as I have gone through many programs and received many certifications, the key to receiving information is being able to apply it when it applies to what you're doing, right? See, we can get a whole lot of certifications. I have over 30 right now under my belt. I can teach anything that's in the coaching industry right now because I've trained on, I've taken time, I continue to be a learner because I believe in helping my clients and helping my students get to that next level. I'm never going to stop doing what I'm doing, right? Never going to stop, Miss Carrie. Never going to stop, I'm going to learn how to do that too. So this is the thing. When you are moving into that arena, right? And you're on this team and your team is you got to learn to have a backbone. And sometimes the backbone is what causes us to feel a little bit shaky, right? And so Being resilient and learning from that, you have to be able to have something in place. And the 3S theory works, y'all. The 3S, if you can imagine being silent and being by yourself, can I be honest with you? There's a whole component out there that talks about how important being silent is. If you take 30 seconds and just work with me for a little bit, take 30 seconds with me and just close out everything in your atmosphere right now. We're going to give you 30 seconds. I'm not going to say a word. I want you to take this time and I want you just to not to say nothing. And we're starting now. Time up. Time up. I know somebody looking at the video later say, wait a minute, did she go silent? Did the screen freeze? No, that was my time to let you think about what we're talking about right now, right? Because silence will bring about an opportunity for everything else to wash out of your mind. Silence is a tool of peace. Write this down, guys, and I know some of you are. Silence is a tool of peace. Being able to be quiet gives you peace. Sometimes the greatest problem that on a team of people is that everybody's trying to talk, right? And so enforce with your team the importance of being quiet and letting every individual have an opportunity to voice out what they're needing to voice out. Silence is a priceless tool that everyone needs to learn how to experience and exercise. Silence, my friend, will bring clarity to you in places that you never even experienced, places that you never even knew existed. Silence will put some things back into perspective that have been misplaced and misjudged and misheard to, right? So I want to talk about this third piece, and then we're gonna make that move right now, baby. Make that move right now. Okay, we're gonna talk about resilience and learning from setbacks. Resilience and learning back from setbacks. Why is that important? Because when you in that strategic planning mode, and that's what most football teams have done, they go back and they review the tapes, they go back and review the plays, and they sit down and they develop another strategic plan from that. When we're talking about the inevitable setbacks, because they come, setbacks are gonna come, right? But what do you do when you have them? Every time something happens negative, is an opportunity for you to learn something powerful, right? The last couple of weeks, I've learned some very positive things about some negative things that have happened. And why is that? Because God has allowed us to see these things, because if He made us go through it, child. Look, can my church people say, if He made us go through it, He's going to take us through it. I'm just going to tell you, because there's sometimes those setbacks are very extremely, they're intense, and they can almost knock you off your feet. Can I just be honest with you? I've had some moments where I've just been completely knocked off my feet. That's why I do what I do. That's why I became into the field that I'm in, because I do believe that sometimes these setbacks that we have will cause us they will push for our next set up. Right? It's for our own good. Right on, Miss Carrie. Because when I tell you that these setbacks are a part of the learning process, the key is how we learn, right? Sometimes I can be honest with you. I don't like some of these daggone blasted tests. I think some of these tests are just made to make me mad. Anywho, but at the end of the day, what I've learned from some of those experiences is A, who I am. B, what takes me to what button pushes me. C, who can I really trust in the season? And a whole lot of other things that we'll get into at a later date. But when I tell you that when you facing these adversaries and these things that are happening in our life right now, but these things are opportunity for us to learn to come back strong. If we never get knocked down, we're never going to get back up. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never. I don't know why that song's in my head, Miss Carrie. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it, never. Okay. Anywho, these typical things will cause us to have a strong comeback, right? Never going to give up. You're never going to give up because it's not time for you to stop. It's not time for you to end, right? People, places, and things will never understand your full capacity because it's not supposed to be. You are never going to understand your full capacity. Sometimes I go through the motions and doing what I do only to be able to have to sit back and say, wait a minute, did that work? Right? Those types of issues will make a stronger person in you and me for the right reason. I need us to sometimes to explore some things. It's positively okay to bounce back from the challenges. And sometimes, but we have to explore our mindset. What does that really look like, right? Sometimes this thing up here gets us in trouble. This is why you need to call Coach K, because she's a mastermind coach. But see, this is the thing. As a mastermind coach myself, one of the things that I can tell you is this thing right here. This mindset, joker right here. This thing will draw needles. It would draw blood. Have you ever went to the doctor's office and they stuck the little needle in your hand so they could draw blood? I have rolling veins, and so a lot of times, it's a little challenging for me. But one of the things I can tell you is when they stick it in there to draw it out, it becomes a challenge because either I got to sit there and endure the pain to get the best results, right? When I get the results from the doctor's office after that, I'm pulled and pried and took all that blood out of me. The results are amazing, which you can tell. When I can draw from a pain and find out what was the true value of the pain, that sounds like a book, The True Value of the Pain. I don't know. I got any collaborators out there? This is the thing, though. When we understand how important that is, when we look at how we have to bounce back from these pains, and we can provide ourselves with strategies and things that help our team succeed. See, this is the thing. If you're going to be a team coordinator, you got to make sure that your team is ready for your challenge. Sometimes students get in my class and they're like, oh, she's so hard, she's so mean. I'm not hard or mean. I just refuse to allow you to die in this season, baby, because can I tell you, there's some times I wish people would not let me die in my season, because it's important to understand how this works. Being able to pull out in the most difficult situations. Have you ever watched a football game, and watch it this weekend, right? Have you ever seen one of the teams they're playing the ball and the quarterback is looking to who he can throw the ball to? But the challenge is that there's so many adversaries and there's so many things in their way that they can't even see who to throw the ball to. And at the last result, the best thing is for them to run themselves. I don't know about you. That's one of the things I love to see about football, right? When the quarterback doesn't have any other choice but to run the ball himself, right? Because everything else is being blocked out of his way. So you got to look at this thing on a different perspective, right? When you are in the pit, when you are in the middle of the situation and you see the other options, the only thing that you have in front of you is open field to run. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're watching a football game this weekend, call me, text me. Hey, take 5 seconds and put something on Facebook and say, Victoria, you are right. Check this out. There's those moments when you're carrying the baby, you're carrying the ball all by yourself, and you think you have the most top-notch guys watching for you. But sometimes they are blocking your distractions. Have you ever thought about that these people, when they're playing football, that the ones that are coming for the quarterback is the ones that everybody has got to keep off of them? Sometimes those frustrations is exactly what's keeping us back and holding us from doing the next things that we need to do. Sometimes you need some good team players that can move clear your running path, right? Sometimes you got to have somebody else that look, oh, okay, y'all. Whew, hold on just a second. Oh, they hit me. Sometimes you got to have people in place that's going to take the blows so that you can run. Sometimes you got to be the person that takes the hit so that somebody else can run. Because that quarterback sometimes never gets touched. It's everybody else, but that leaves him the opportunity to run it all the way down the field. I want to encourage you today, and wait a minute, even you back there. I want to encourage you today to keep on running. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from all the things that have happened to you and say to yourself, where's my team at? You're going to be able to identify who's in your corner if you keep on running. You will be able to identify who is really in your corner when you keep on running, even through all of the things that you think that you couldn't. Just keep running, man. Just keep going for the gusto. Keep doing what you got to do. Keep making it move. Make that move right now, baby. I don't know, Miss Carey. I'm going to have to play that again. Make that move. Make that move. Run all the way to the end until you get all the way to the places that you need to be. I want to encourage you on today to keep on pressing. Up, Miss Carey, you better stay out my head, girl. Keep on pressing. Keep on understanding that you were created for this battle, right? The battle is not yours, but baby, sometimes you got to feel it and you got to make it until there's a saying that says fake it until you make it, right? We say it all the time. It's cliches and we use it. But I want you to be able to understand that sometimes it ain't faking it. It's just being resilient. Sometimes sometimes we need to change what we say. It's not being that you're being fake. It's that you're being resilient. It's that you're holding your own self accountable for getting to that end zone, right? It's time for us to see that. Because my friends, it truly is time for us to be empowered, embraced, and educated, to be elevated and not tolerated. And guess what? My time is up, and I appreciate you for letting me have some of yours. And we will see you tomorrow at 2:00 with my good friend, my little baby brother is what I call him. Donnie got the beans. It's coming back on Sassy Saturday for February. He's our guest for Sassy Saturday for the month of February, and he's going to come and get us prepared. He's got some new music out there. He's got some new stuff that he's doing, and I'm super excited to have him with us on tomorrow because he's getting us ready for something else that's going to be happening, and you don't want to miss it. I promise you, you will not want to miss it. So we'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 right here, 2:00 Eastern Standard Time, right here on Super Sassy Saturday with Elevated Not Tolerated. All right, guys, have a great week.